To everyone else, this is a task. But to you, this is opportunity.
Switch to Boost Mobile and get the Coach Prime Moto G5G for $29.99 at boostmobile.com. The Boost Mobile network, together with our roaming partners, covers 99% of the U.S. population. Moto G5G for $29.99 when you switch with a new Unlimited Plus or Unlimited Premium plan activation. Online only. Taxes extra. All prices, fees, features, functionality, and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit boostmobile.com for details.
We all have dreams. Dream home renovations, dream vacations, or sending our kids to their dream colleges. But finding straightforward ways to turn those dreams into realistic goals, that's where things get tricky. Merrill understands that. That's why, with a dedicated Merrill advisor, you get a personalized plan and a clear path forward. And having the bull at your back helps your whole financial life move with you. So when your plans change, Merrill is with you every step of the way. Go to ml.com/bullish to learn more. Merrill, a Bank of America company. What would you like the power to do? Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, registered broker-dealer, registered investment advisor, member SIPC.
So good, so good, so good. New markdowns up to 70% off are at Nordstrom Rack stores now. From fresh kicks to perfect gifts, there's always a find.
Levi's, Paige, Frame, all the best denim.
Why do I rack? Because check out these boots.
I always score at Rack.
Head to your Nordstrom Rack store to find amazing deals on all things winter. Great brands, great prices, that's why you rack.
Surviving Reality contains explicit content full of snark and sarcasm that may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to Surviving Reality.
I'm Corey.
And I'm Carly, and today we are here talking about Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 5, Episode 14, La Vida Loca.
And this just always makes me think of the Ricky Martin classic smash hit song, Livin' La Vida Loca, right?
Yeah. Just putting that together now in real time.
It's a classic now because when did that come out? In the 90s, right?
Don't make
Late
us
90s?
feel old.
It's very old.
It's a good song.
About 20 years ago, so it might be an oldie now.
He could have revived his career. They could have played it at the dinner. Everything else was branded. They needed some music.
I guess Lisa didn't want the competition, though. She didn't want to distract.
She owns VIDA.
Yeah. VIDA is like her thing. And so, yeah, she doesn't want to get any other association attached to the VIDA brand. But the Bravo description for this one is a mile long. I'm going to try my best to read it in one piece here. The Mexico trip continues with the ladies on a yacht excursion. Lisa updates the group on life with John and Henry. Brittany takes offense at the lack of enthusiasm over her last announcement. Bronwyn reveals dark truths about her marriage and is surprised by Heather's grace and Lisa's lack of support.
I cannot believe that coming off of this episode, we have a break week. There's not going to be a new episode airing on Christmas Day. It looks like it's just The Holiday and Love Actually playing over and over and over again on the Bravo schedule.
That's quite a rotation to alternate between for Christmas Day.
So they're going to make us wait. I don't know. I need it now. I need to watch the next episode immediately.
They're leaving you cliffhanging, I guess. That's just what it's going to be. The week of New Year's, is that going to be the new episode then? Beginning of January?
On New Year's Day.
New Year's Day. Okay. We haven't seen the schedule yet. They haven't updated it since it only goes through the end of December. We're flying blind here.
Well, except for next week. We know there's no episode next week.
Well, that part.
We will have an episode, so no fear. We will be talking about Glitter and Greed, the Lisa Frank story from Amazon Prime.
Still got to watch it. It's on my list of things to do. But we'll get there.
Are you ready for my interpretation?
Yeah, there were like 3 more lines on the description on Google. I'm not going to read the rest of them.
Oh, where did you read to?
I read to...
I've got all of it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's very long.
I didn't even notice that you stopped midway through.
I think there's 2... No, maybe it's just one more big sentence. Mary arrives and the ladies come together for a beautiful VIDA dinner where Meredith learns her late night antics.
Okay, that's enough.
Yeah, there's so much. It keeps going.
I don't even have that.
It's a whole summary. It's a whole entire summary. Let's hear the Carly
What are they
rewrite.
using, AI to summarize the entire episodes and write descriptions now?
I think it's catching the highlights from the Reddit discussions when there's the live watch threads. And so that's what it's just pulling, all these different moments.
Well, mine is short and sweet.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Bronwyn spills Todd's dirty little secret. Meredith cries over slut shaming. Mary waits for her pastrami soup. Lisa leaves her VIDA dinner party.
Pastrami soup. That has to be an original recipe.
Mary didn't know what the fuck she ordered.
Something tells me that she is the type to just order things incorrectly and then be so abrasive when something is brought to them that doesn't make any sense, but it is what they asked for. Much like your cheesy gordita crunch chalupa issue that you face often.
This is an ongoing issue.
With Taco Bell ordering. Struggles are real.
I still can't tell you which one it is.
That's okay.
The cheesy gordita crunch.
You're a cheesy gordita
okay.
crunch girl.
Okay. Well, tomorrow I may have a different answer.
It's true.
Let's get right into this. We pick up and Bronwyn is on the phone with Todd talking about what happened with Lisa. And I just think at this point, they shouldn't show anything Todd says anymore because it doesn't make him any more likable.
If that's what they're trying to do, because it's not working if that's what they're going for. I feel like this was just Bronwyn checking on the dogs, though. Not so much checking on Todd.
Did they maul anyone else yet?
Yeah, have they?
Are we facing another lawsuit? Did anyone go to the ER?
Did we get served while I've been gone?
She's a little worried. It's just Todd they're not helping themselves. I guess maybe that's why they keep including it, because they're trying to prove that there's something wrong in their marriage. Bronwyn mentioned that she texted him in the middle of the night and said she was leaving, but she didn't, and she's still here. And it's good to know that Todd was so concerned that he texted her back.
He didn't even read it, probably.
This woman's arm and leg are black and blue, full of dog bite holes. She's telling you that she wants to leave Mexico early, didn't care, left her on read.
She's chomped up like a chew toy, and she is trying to get your attention any way that she can. It's not working.
The thing that she seems to be most upset about is that Lisa implied that she's being a little snobby. Maybe you better check that, Bronwyn. You're not happy with your accommodations.
Well, I think what she was getting at was that the issue is in their friendship. That's what she keeps tying it back to. That's what she keeps rooting it in.
She has a lot of things that she is upset about. She's putting it under that umbrella, but I've heard many a complaint come out of Bronwyn so far. I gotta say, I go back and forth between liking her and then being irritated by her.
I feel like this was an episode where I was annoyed by Bronwyn.
Oh, okay.
For me, because I feel like there were some strategic things that were being done. This wasn't as heartfelt as it appears to be on the surface level.
Okay, I agree too.
I'm just saying.
And I'm just putting it out here. My heart goes out to Lisa Barlow, and everyone's going to get upset about it.
No, okay, you went way too far. You went way too far. I cannot condone feeling sympathy for Lisa Barlow on the yacht at this point. But I will say Bronwyn I think she was kind of...
She is playing housewife.
She's doing
a good job.
Yeah, she's doing what she's supposed to do as part of the show.
Well, the other housewives have finally decided that they're showing up this season. Whitney,
they have decided
please don't.
To show this season.
Whitney, Angie, and Heather. Whitney and Heather have had no storyline to be found.
Oh, right. They were doing the aerobics. I completely forgot about
They
this.
went and did water aerobics. How could you forget?
It wasn't that impactful, I think, for the episode for me.
It struck a personal chord with me.
I know. It resonates deeply with you.
My mom has been the instructor who has taught water aerobic classes at resorts like this. Fun fact.
Hits close to home for Carly.
Unfortunately, was not in Puerto Vallarta at this time.
Yeah, I was going to say, not at resorts that are this nice.
That would have been a lot more exciting. So I feel like Whitney and Heather are sniffing around, that they think there's something going on with Bronwyn and they need to latch onto her coattails if they want more screen time.
They need some sort of content. They need to be involved somewhere, somehow, in something.
So they're starting to question, is something more going on with Bronwyn? And then we get the flashback to the ride to the resort where Bronwyn's talking about what happened with the dog. And she's explaining that she had to go to the ER and that she called She called Todd's assistant. I was going to say she called Todd, but
she did call Todd, and Todd didn't answer.
There's a go-between. She has to speak with his assistant before she can speak with her own husband.
See, the problem was she called Todd's direct line too many times, and it was for stuff that Todd deemed not important, probably.
Think she's blocked now?
So now he just sends him to voicemail and then basically just checks in with her at the end of the day. And that wasn't working for this one. This was an actual emergency where there was a medical sort of process that was underway.
Well, yeah, someone's going to the ER.
Yeah, this is a big problem.
This has happened before, too. The dogs have attacked someone in the past. Didn't send up red flags for him. Didn't rush out. Didn't leave whatever work meeting he was in.
They need another number. A direct
Does he
line.
need a pager?
Yeah, a direct line.
He has a pager, I bet you.
For when the dogs attack someone. It's just
the button that goes red on his desk.
It's like
he knows.
It's the bat signal.
Call the lawyer. Call the local ER. Call the vet.
Yeah.
Just cover all your bases from here. You know the plan.
Personally order a rabies shot. Cover all your bases.
Do you think that Bronwyn brought this story up to try to get them to ask a little bit more about her marriage? Or was this just an unfortunate coincidence?
I feel like Bronwyn is carrying a lot of this, just the lack of reaction from Todd and the lack of concern. And she has nowhere to go with this story. She was hoping someone would talk to her about it, but now it's a volcano that's building. And then we see the eruption this episode too, because still there's no one who's interested enough to actually ask.
All right, that's a theory that maybe there was resentment building towards Todd because of the way he reacted, and she wanted to talk to somebody about it, but nobody was really probing enough to get into the serious conversation. Is that what you're thinking?
So it just kind of comes out. It's the word vomit. Meredith has actual vomit, alleged vomit, and then Bronwyn is having word vomit.
I was wondering if maybe Bronwyn was carefully leaving breadcrumbs for the other women to pick up. And Heather bit that shit. She's hungry this season.
I was going to say, yeah, she's wanting French toast. If it's French toast, she might take a bite.
Scooping those breadcrumbs up. Should we be concerned about Bronwyn? That's what she's wondering going into the yacht trip.
Yeah, because I don't think anybody else is going to pick up the breadcrumbs. You got Brittany, who there's not much going on between those ears. And Angie, she's got enough.
Angie is busy stirring her own pot.
She has enough stuff to worry about.
And then Whitney relies on Heather to find storylines for her.
So she knows.
Here we are.
Yep.
Ta-da.
Tata Farms.
The next thing that Lisa has planned for the ladies is that they are going to be going on a little yacht excursion. But first, she has gifts that she brought with her as well.
But she's delivering them in canvas bags like it's grocery store delivery. No one knows what to do with this. Well, specifically Bronwyn.
They're branded. I feel like that's an important part of the conversation.
Livin' La Vida Loca.
Did she get them from the same place that Meredith ordered the Meredith Marks bag that she brought the shampoo and conditioner in? Isn't that what she gave to Angie?
They've got a print guy. I feel like Meredith and Lisa would both have the same print guy.
They're keeping someone's printing business in Salt Lake City very busy, just between the two of them. Now, does a canvas bag compare to a completely crystal embellished passport holder?
Well, those were completely unsolicited gifts. Those were just spontaneous. I don't know what they were from Bronwyn, where she was just forcing that upon everyone. It wasn't her trip. It wasn't requested. It's not Meredith's caviar because you know she's going to bring that.
Oh, there was definitely a can of caviar inside that bag.
It's not Whitney's jewelry that she gave to Lisa and then Lisa left in the hotel in Milwaukee. Is this a canvas bag that Bronwyn can just leave on the shuttle tram at some point? Shuttle bus that they have?
I bet you she doesn't bring that thing back with her.
Yeah, I don't think so.
It was a little snobby, just saying. To go, I don't know what I would have a use for a canvas bag for.
Bronwyn admits that it's snobby because then that's what she's saying is what's frustrating is that the allegation against her right now is that she is snobby. And then she's realizing, yeah, because I would have probably said something. I would have snarked on this canvas bag, but I can't do that because that's going to make me look bad. It's only going to reinforce Lisa's point.
Maybe she can fill it with bandages and first aid supplies that she could bring to the dog park with her.
A first aid kit. A first response. Oh, no.
I can think of a few ideas for it.
Alcohol swabs. A tourniquet. What else do you need for a day at the dog park?
She can consult her local veterinarian's office.
Just don't put the dog treats in there, because then everything's going to start smelling like dog treats and you're just going to have more problems.
You're asking for it then.
Yeah, it's more problems.
Can I point out that people seem to be turned off by the amount of VIDA tequila branding on everything, but every other housewife who runs a business of their own has used their trip as an opportunity to showcase the things that they sell.
I thought that was the point, and that was why we were in Mexico, wasn't it? It was that we were going to do a tour of one of the factories.
I totally thought that we were going to be digging up a tequila plant, an agave plant somewhere.
Oh, yeah. She mentioned it briefly at the dinner and showed some photographs of the rich, fertile soil.
Now, before everyone even gets on the boat, Brittany's trying to stir up some shit because she heard something last night from her room.
Unidentified something.
Specifically from Meredith's room.
Attributing it to Meredith.
There was some wailing, some crying, some dry heaving. She's not really sure exactly what she heard.
Some moaning myrtle going on in the bathroom.
It's like the episode of The Office where they stay at the beet farm.
Where Dwight.
And they hear... That's what they heard coming from the room.
Thought I heard some moaning or wailing or something.
So maybe we should check on Meredith. Or maybe we should all just talk about it and no one will ask her how she is.
Yeah, don't ask Meredith directly or ask her in public scenarios where you can...
Embarrass her?
Yeah, just right in front of everybody where then she's just going to explain it away because she was just saying, oh, I didn't sleep so great last night. Maybe it was from your violent vomiting and aggressive diarrhea. If we're just going to start tacking things on.
Oh, you think she was going the Elvis way?
I'm saying, I think it was north and south, perhaps. She was upset. Maybe it was some Montezuma's revenge. She drank out of the wrong water bottle. I don't know what happened.
I feel like Meredith would own up to that. If she got sick, she would make sure everyone knew that someone on this trip got her sick because she would need to blame someone or something.
Didn't she do that? She mixed her...
She's been sick on other trips before.
She's mixed her medication with alcohol and got zonked out a little too hard on some other trips. It's dangerous. You got to be careful.
Picture this. You're halfway through a DIY car fix, tools scattered everywhere, and boom, you realise you're missing a part. It's okay, because you know whatever it is, it's on eBay. They've got everything. Brakes, headlights, cold air intakes, whatever you need. And it's guaranteed to fit, which means no more crossing your fingers and hoping you ordered the right thing. All the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love.
Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds. Recently, I asked Mint Mobile's legal team if big wireless companies are allowed to raise prices due to inflation. They said yes. And then when I asked if raising prices technically violates those onerous 2-year contracts, they said, what the f*** are you talking about, you insane Hollywood ass f- So to recap, we're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
They get to the boat. I feel like I can't call it a boat. It's a yacht.
It's a yacht.
It deserves its proper name.
Okay.
And everyone is wearing improper footwear.
Well, you're just going to kick them off when you get there.
Was this really a yacht? I'm trying to remember it. This isn't a below deck level yacht, is it?
No, they have bartenders and...
They stayed outside the whole time. They're just on the deck?
Yeah, you can rent them for the day, for the afternoon.
I feel like there were no cabins inside of this boat. Am I making that? I'm probably
maybe down below.
Making a lot of assumptions about how much Lisa Barlow spent.
The best day seems like maybe it is just for day trips. There is no night that you can spend on the best day.
Don't plan on staying overnight.
It's just crew.
The crew's getting rid of you.
It's just crew quarters. That's all they have room for down there.
We're not cleaning rooms. There's no third stew.
There's no laundry.
We're not ironing your clothes.
No.
Get the fuck off the boat.
You take your drinks and get the hell out of here.
Your Diet Cokes and your VIDA tequila. That's all that was available.
But we had a nice moment where Angie was able to help Meredith to the yacht, walking like a baby giraffe.
Again, because of the improper shoes.
Yeah, it was bad.
The heels.
But I get it.
You take your shoes off on a yacht.
Yeah, you're not going to wear them on the yacht.
You're actually not allowed to.
I don't know if that's just a general...
No, you're not allowed to. It's dangerous, and you're going to ruin the wood, the floors.
It's a big problem.
And the carpets.
Well, especially with the shoes that they had. Yeah, they were just dying to scratch up.
Looking to dig into the deck.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now we know why they're so serious over on Below Deck.
Well, so did we get into, it was like an impromptu dance competition?
I don't know what the fuck was going on.
It wasn't a competition. There wasn't
Why
much.
were they dancing for Bronwyn?
Because I think Bronwyn admitted that she has no dance skills, which we saw in the hot dog costume flashback to Milwaukee. Not a lot to offer in that realm. So I guess she was just judging the dances and everyone was trying to appease her.
Not everyone. Meredith did not participate.
Well, she wasn't feeling up for it.
She's still not recovered from last night. The real point of this trip, though, is for Lisa to be able to update everyone about her life. Because we've been on pins and needles waiting to hear, how is Henry doing? Who I want to call Harry every time we talk about him because he's so irrelevant. I don't remember his name.
Poor Henry.
He's doing a lot better.
It's the year of Henry now.
It's the year of Henry. They're taking Henry to do all kinds of things. I'm sure he's just overjoyed to be spending so much time with Lisa and John.
I think that's what he was dreading most, right?
Yeah, about Jack leaving on his mission.
Yeah, is that, oh no, it's mom and dad are going to put all of the attention on me now. This is a big problem. Because it sounds like the kid just likes to be in his room alone. Maybe I am.
You're Henry?
Maybe I am him. I was doubting it before, but
I hope that doesn't make me Lisa, because the only other person you live with.
You're not going to be my mom.
No, but do I bother you?
Sometimes. Sometimes. I need my alone time. I need my unwind time at the end of the night.
I think Lisa Barlow would be such a fun mom. She would just burst into your room and be like, do you want to go on a Diet Coke run?
No, that's the worst thing to have.
When you're a teenage boy, is your mom bursting into your room?
Yep. That's a big problem. Big problem.
Why, do you want a little tequila? Because if you do, I'm going to make sure it's VIDA. Start them early.
Oh, no.
Get them brand loyal.
Yeah.
Everyone's pretending to be interested, and this is upsetting Brittany because she made a very important announcement during dinner yesterday, and nobody wanted to hear about her update about her family life.
Well, yeah, but just because most of the time when you talk, Brittany, it's just, we don't really listen. We're not hearing what you're saying.
All right, but aren't they doing the same thing to Lisa right now?
I feel like there was general interest in Henry's story. I think people were more interested in hearing about Henry than what was going on in Lisa's life.
I kind of think that they were giving Lisa her flowers a little bit since she got attacked for being a bad mom earlier in the season.
It's a way to get her to combat that. Sure. Yeah, they're giving her
talking about that
and giving her a platform to show that, yeah, that's not the case.
Bronwyn is so over Brittany. And I'm enjoying it.
I thought for a second, I thought they were reusing Bronwyn rolling her eyes multiple times throughout the conversation. No, those were all different.
All different and unique shots. She did it so many different ways.
So many different ways and with different things. One, she just rolled her eyes. It was just her. Then there was one where she was licking her fingers and she was rolling her eyes.
My favorite, yes, is where she is licking the salt off of the rim of the glass while rolling her eyes.
Yes. So it was and then there was one with a straw too. So I think there was at least 3 or 4 completely different shots. They did not reuse any of those or get creative with the placement or anything. Those were separate individual takes.
And Bronwyn's asking the real questions because, Brittany, are you upset that we didn't listen to your story and care about your announcement? Or do you actually care about your daughter and the fact that you've made progress in your relationship? Because it kind of feels like you just care that we didn't listen to your announcement.
It's more about the attention thing of me. Yeah, that no one paid attention. No one blew smoke up my ass last night when I had this announcement.
And, that is the second time that's happened to her because she has stood up multiple times and made an announcement with her glass and her fork or her spoon and her glass. What do you do? Is that what's proper?
Well, clanging silverware against your glass.
It's not
the way
etiquette.
Yeah, not the way to do that.
We need Mary Cosby to call that out next time.
Yeah.
I hope the glass just breaks one time. Maybe she'll learn her lesson. She'll be traumatized and never try it again.
See, this is the problem.
She needs a little bell.
She's done too many. She's called Todd's phone too many times. This is what Brittany's done with the announcements now. You've wasted
Cried
it.
wolf.
Yeah, you burned through everyone's attention span. So now they know when you have an announcement, we can just gloss over that. We don't need to pay attention.
That didn't go over very well with Brittany because you're kind of a shitty person that you don't care about the fact that my daughter, who was no contact with me, finally spoke to me after 6 months. You're kind of a bitch, Bronwyn.
And this is where, Bronwyn hits kind of a breaking point, but I think it's a strategic breaking point because this is almost like a lesson to Brittany of if you want to make the whole afternoon about you, here's how you do that. So this is where it was almost like Bronwyn taking Brittany, because Brittany just interrupts and is right to the point, way too direct, and makes it all about herself. And it's so obvious what's going on. So then you don't like her. You don't like her for bringing it up.
She's not a good storyteller. Unlike Bronwyn, who's able to weave a tale that gets everybody engaged from the beginning to the end.
It's the story that gets you invested. She knows what to throw out there to get you to ask what happens next. What do you mean?
The first thing she's upset about, though, is she just got called a bitch, and Lisa is sitting right next to Brittany and hasn't said a word. So, Lisa, would you like to add anything?
You got upset by
did.
this.
I got very upset.
But I understand because she's had this conversation with Lisa where she's saying if Brittany were directing these insults to Lisa and Bronwyn was sitting where she's sitting, there would be an expectation to jump in and defend Lisa.
I don't agree. I think if it was anyone else other than Brittany, then there's an argument. But no one cares what Brittany says.
I think that's what Lisa needs to say, but then, or somebody needs to say it, but then nobody wants to say that in front of Brittany at this point. But
Why
I feel
not?
like you should, because she's like 1/2 step away from being Mei Lee, where she
You're
falls
just going
off.
to disappear. We're going to forget you were ever here.
She falls off the back of this boat. We're not circling back. You know what I'm saying?
I kind of get where Lisa's coming from, where it's like, do I have to fight every one of your battles just because you're in a fight with somebody? I immediately have to be in a fight with them too? I don't see Bronwyn doing the same thing for Lisa.
Yeah, and I think it's complicated because in the group setting, I think that's where Bronwyn is expecting Lisa to jump in, and that's usually not where people are trying to jump in. I mean, it keeps happening in the larger arguments that do unfold, but I think that's what Bronwyn is still waiting for Lisa to jump in on that because Bronwyn has defended Lisa in smaller groups.
To be honest, I think Lisa was still shocked that her story got interrupted.
Lisa's still trying to figure out how to circle this back to Henry.
Yeah, she wants to go back to talking about what she was talking about. She'd like to keep talking about herself.
Yeah,
and Henry.
we are 2 degrees away now, and it's going to be difficult to center that back on Lisa again. So it shifts and it becomes the Bronwyn show where she goes into a whole segment where she is unloading.
This was Masterpiece Theater, Real Housewives edition. You want to hear about some real stuff? Let's talk about real stuff. I don't want to talk about being a gold digger. I want to talk about infidelity. Everybody clenches. Everybody's butt clenches. They're like, what is about to be spilt here? Because all that they've heard so far is that Bronwyn and Todd have this great relationship. I kind of think that they were maybe excited that she could be saying something about Lisa Barlow.
Oh, you thought it was going to be more of a direct
Wouldn't
attack.
that have been fun? No, though. It's still about Bronwyn.
I feel like people have theorized that the only reason that Bronwyn is on the show now is to divorce Todd. So this is becoming her storyline, and this was the reason why she signed up for the show is because it's going to give her an out in her marriage.
That's really interesting. And just thinking about how Todd has reacted to personal things being shared on this show so far, he was not happy about the storyline about Gwen. He's come after, maybe I should use nicer words. He's corrected Bronwyn about some of the other things that she's spoken about or how she's talked about things. I don't think the time that he cheated on her and he got caught is going to be something that he's real thrilled is airing on television.
But Bronwyn is down here in Mexico. She is applying Neosporin to her dog wounds herself, and she is changing her bandages, and she is sick of holding in all these secrets.
Is that why she's got to wear a shawl?
I think so.
I'm pretty sure you can't expose Neosporin to the sun.
Well, yeah, sun damage on the
great.
skin. It's extra sensitive now. Yeah, you got to be careful.
Can't compile issues on top of issues.
Don't do that.
Okay.
So it is kind
highlight.
It is a revenge. It's a revenge moment for Bronwyn. But I think it's also a flex on Brittany to show her, hey, if you want to make a conversation about you, this is how you do it. Take notes, kid, because I'm going to show you a thing or two.
Which, so impressive for a first season housewife.
She did it. I mean, the rest
executed with perfection.
The whole afternoon,
10
it was
out of 10.
Conversation about Bronwyn and Todd, and that was it. And then we ended up with a whole philosophical, psychological evaluation of Bronwyn too, where it's her worldview and how everything is filtered through how she's not good enough.
Why would you feel good enough if your husband is constantly critiquing the way in which you communicate with other people? Just a thought. The highlight for me was when she shared that Todd made it up to her, quote unquote, by giving her a 5-diamond ring, which represented 5 different promises. And Lisa goes, "That's nice."
Oh, that's really nice. At least you got something out of it.
Lisa, her husband cheated on her.
Yeah, between Lisa and Meredith, they gave the worst advice and the worst support out of the entire cast, I think.
But no one else really said anything.
I think Angie had jumped in where she was saying, I can relate to that.
She compared it to herself.
Well, that's the modus operandi of this group because Heather compared it to herself. And yeah, this all sounds very familiar to her husband before they had their divorce. And then that was her whole reset in her life, was wanting more and wanting better for herself. Angie compared it to herself and how her husband's a perfectionist. And it's always really hard to match up to his expectations all the time too. They're running a business. She's just getting settled in on that, and they want to start another business. It's always something else.
And Whitney got inspired for a storyline and started filing her own divorce papers. That happened this week. That there's a rumor that Whitney and Justin's marriage is coming to an end potentially.
Oh boy.
Stealing another woman's storyline.
Will Bronwyn be able to then? I feel like she wouldn't legally divorce for a while. It would be one of those things where it's just held up.
I feel like they're holding out on each other. Like neither one wants to be the one who files. I don't know why.
Even though that's usually who's in the driver's seat. So you got to be careful.
You got to beat him to it.
Yeah. It's a race.
I mean, she's pretty good at playing mental gymnastics. So I would hope that she'd do pretty well in out-lawyering him in a divorce. I did laugh where Heather immediately started encouraging Bronwyn to divorce Todd.
Well, yeah, it became the Reddit relationship post where that's just everybody's suggestion is, yeah, you should probably just leave that relationship.
You did not like this woman. You still don't. Let's be real. You don't really like her. And yet you're her number one cheerleader in filing for divorce.
Is it just to see, is it a test for Heather to see if Bronwyn would do something that she tells her to do? Such a major life change thing? Is this...
I don't know. But Bronwyn, who I don't think is a stupid person, is like, Heather's support means the world to me. Look at Heather supporting me. And look at how Lisa's reacting. Because Lisa didn't encourage you to go divorce Todd?
Yeah, to immediately confer with a divorce lawyer. Is that support? Yeah, if you're just telling someone they should get divorced.
Also, this story was told as though it happened a number of years ago. It's not like she just discovered it.
Yeah, or an ongoing thing that she's implying. Well, I don't know, because she was talking about how he works in New York. He works in the city. He works long hours. We know that tale as old as time.
It seemed like something that happened and you made your choice of how you were going to respond and react to it. And now you're sharing with your friends the reality of your relationship. It didn't seem like there was a, what should I do attached to it.
Yeah, not really looking for suggestions at this point. Appreciate your input, though, Heather. We will make sure that that's noted for the future.
Lisa's completely shocked by this story. She's Never heard anything but positive things about Todd from Bronwyn.
So did this happen more than 10 years ago? Because Bronwyn and Lisa have allegedly been friends for 10 years. So I hope it wasn't in that span.
She said it was a few years ago.
Oh, boy. Yeah,
so while they were friends.
Missed that window. Lisa doesn't really divulge a lot of personal information about herself or her marriage, it seems like. So maybe that's just news. It's all news.
I don't know that Lisa hears a lot that gets said to her, but it's not like Bronwyn said Lisa knew this. So it had to be new information to her.
Yeah.
And she is, honestly, it does seem like she's kind of doubting it.
Lisa and Meredith were quick to defend, oh, that might be just the way that Todd is. That's how he shows affection, is by ignoring you and degrading you and then buying you diamond rings to make up for his infidelity.
Can I say, I'm sorry, guys, this is a defense of Lisa Barlow again.
Here we go.
If you're on a show like Housewives and you invite your friend on and then they start telling stories that you've never heard before about their life, and the result of it is that people who were previously upset with her, right? Because there were a lot of people who were not happy with Bronwyn coming into this trip, now feel bad for her. Would you start wondering, did I bring a snake into this pit with me? What's going on?
That just shows, that Lisa is kind of asleep at the wheel here when it comes to this trip. And I think for keeping an eye on Bronwyn, I don't know if she realizes how effective Bronwyn is. Maybe a little bit at the dinner, because Lisa gets very upset at the dinner.
Well, before we get there, Bronwyn's already starting to sow the seeds amongst the other ladies in the group of, did you see how unsupportive Lisa was? She's supposed to be my very good friend. Same thing with Meredith. Meredith saying things that are making it seem like it's my fault that this happened to me.
This is another part where I will respect Bronwyn for her participation in the game here. Lisa has intentionally placed you into the other villa. So now when we have gone back, we've returned from the yacht, we go to our separate villas for lunch. Bronwyn is using this time away from Lisa to her advantage to gain her allies and build the army to go stand against Lisa.
There is a new alliance formed within this villa because, again, Whitney and Heather jump on the opportunity to take advantage of this. And they say, well, that's just because there's been infidelity in their relationships. And so that's why they're quick to tell you to forgive Todd.
Between Meredith and Lisa.
Not between them.
Well, not between.
Not betwixt them.
No.
Separately within their own relationships.
Yeah.
Cheaters defend cheaters.
And the Utah Jazz.
It's been a long time. I was just going to say, it's been a long time since we've heard the story about Lisa Barlow giving blowies for Jazz tickets.
For floor
seats. Coming back again.
Oh, no.
And then Angie tops it off. It seems like she didn't even really believe you. Isn't that crazy?
It's the other reminder.
It's a real shitty thing
here.
Of a friend to do.
Yeah, so much of a friend. But speaking of friends, we have Mary Cosby. She has arrived.
She is back. Thank God she's here for some comedic relief. She was only here for, the last third of the episode? And
Maybe.
She brought us many giggles and laughs.
Oh, yes. Well, I don't know. Did anyone get her up to speed?
No one told her shit.
Before dinner, she just has to piece all this stuff together on the fly. I think that's probably my favorite part, is just knowing that she has no idea what anybody's talking about from this huge, heartfelt thing that Bronwyn shared on the yacht and that they spent probably an hour talking about in depth. And Mary's just getting dropped into this okay, yeah, I guess that's cool. Good for you.
Mary Cosby is such an unbothered person, though. First of all, I don't think she would have reacted very much to the story.
Oh, not at all. No, I don't think so.
When Meredith asks her why she didn't come with everyone yesterday, her response is just, I was like, and then I came. No other, nothing. She also didn't think of an excuse in advance. No one was going to ask that question.
You were on the plane. You had plenty of time by yourself to think through. You're catching up with the rest of the group. I think you could have just said, I had a few things to take care of back home, some personal stuff, some family stuff, whatever you wanted to say, to just address that and leave it at a spot where it's don't need any other questions at this point. I just think she didn't want Meredith sniffing around for details.
Well, I
Because
know she doesn't want to share the whole reason she didn't come was because Robert Jr. was leaving to go into treatment, which is obviously more important.
yes.
And then personal, so she doesn't really want everyone to know her business.
And I think Mary knows if she says, "Oh, I was dealing with some family stuff with Meredith specifically," then Meredith is going to be sniffing around for answers.
Just say I was busy. I had an appointment. I had something to do.
I'd been scheduled to work.
I couldn't fucking come yesterday. Mind your business.
To everyone else, this is a desk. But to you, it's a launch pad. Your starting block. This ain't a desk. This is opportunity.
Switch to Boost Mobile and get the Coach Prime Moto G 5G on us at your local Boost retailer. Moto G 5G on us when you switch with ID verification and new Unlimited Plus or Unlimited Premium plan activation. Taxes extra. All prices, fees, features, functionality, and offers are subject to change without notice. See participating dealers for details.
Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds. Recently, I asked Mint Mobile's legal team if big wireless companies are allowed to raise prices due to inflation. They said yes. And then when I asked if raising prices technically violates those onerous 2-year contracts, they said, "What the f*** are you talking about, you insane Hollywood ass?" So to recap, we're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
The VIDA dinner. How many signs in various ways can you order that say the same thing? She had a bottle. We just had VIDA in big white block letters.
It was the
We
big
had
white
a
block
banner.
letters from Bronwyn and Todd's at their event. Remember, it was the big
I
letters.
remember at least this spelled something legible that we all understood.
These were words. It wasn't just two different, I almost said anagrams smashed together.
It was the first letter of each of their names, right? But their middle names as well.
Dabsark.
It was very confusing.
Something.
No, Lisa wants to make sure that people remember VIDA. Can you buy VIDA tequila in your local grocery store or liquor store?
Honestly,
we should go look for it.
For as much
I want to try it.
For as much branding as we have seen for it, I've never looked for it in a store. Not once have I ever.
I feel like the distribution wouldn't be that wide.
Yeah, you could probably get it at the duty-free shop at the airport because it just comes
in
off
Salt Lake City.
It comes off the plane and it goes right onto the shelf. That's as far as it gets.
Dinner is interesting. First of all, the menu, questionable. There's some caprese salad, and Mary is waiting for her food. First of all, I thought this was rude that everyone started to eat and Mary didn't have her food. Nothing. Just a blank plate. Empty.
Well, yeah, when you're ordering things that are not on the menu, they don't know what to bring you. So they're trying their best in the back of house to figure out and decipher what the fuck are you talking about?
What is pastrami soup? We're all asking.
My favorite cured meat soup.
I feel like that'd be very salty. And I feel like you'd choke. Like, how do you put pastrami into a soup?
Well, it would be like slices.
Or you'd have to cube it up. You'd have to cube it up.
I don't think I've ever seen cubed pastrami.
Neither have I, but I'm trying to make it work to get in a soup.
They don't have time to cube pastrami.
They don't have pastrami. We're in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico.
They're like, what?
This isn't a Jewish deli in New York.
Do you want some chorizo? Like, what can we do? What can we put in this?
They bring her minestrone soup.
Close
minestrone
enough.
soup?
Minestrone? Sure, because it's...
some form of soup.
It's close to the same amount of syllables. That's as close as they could get.
She's actually not sure what she ordered anyway. Doesn't she not eat meat? I thought she was vegan at one point.
Yeah, you better be careful. If you're asking for salted cured deli meat soups and you're a vegetarian, vegan, that's not going to work out.
Also, why is she getting caprese salad and soup? Aren't those two appetizers?
Soup and salad. Well, maybe
is it a soup and a salad?
Maybe, yeah. Or she's still a little backed up. She didn't get a...
We need some fiber.
she didn't get a full clearance out of the post-flight bathroom visit when she made it to the villa, which she turned away champagne. So you know it must have been a pretty serious ailment that she was under there.
Oh, she was holding it the whole way from the airport.
She was getting dangerously close. She had to take care of that.
That woman was wearing a white suit.
It's dangerous. It's risky.
Yeah, that's a risky game. Why would you wear a white suit to travel in? Just another question I'm going to throw out there. Anyway, Brittany's here to ask the real questions. As soon as her mouth opened, I just sighed because it's becoming a tradition that Brittany speaks first at all of these dinners.
And why would you come for Meredith when you complained? Brittany complained about no one supporting her in her announcement from last night. The only person who pretended to give a shit was Meredith. And now you're turning around and you're going to air Meredith's laundry?
And she's sitting on the opposite end of the table. So she has to yell across everyone. How are you feeling, Meredith? Are you okay? Because it sounded like you were crying in your room last night. As though that's not a personal thing that you maybe approach someone about privately.
No, she approached everyone else privately. Well, and then the story...
She did this backwards.
The legend just kind of grew because I think it was Brittany told Heather. Heather told Angie. Angie told Bronwyn.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was the order of how that story went. But it just got worse and worse as it went on. Because I think by the time you had Angie telling Bronwyn, she was talking about Meredith throwing up all over the place.
Yeah, it was like an explosive situation all of a sudden. Projectile vomiting, like it's The Exorcist.
Yeah, it's just pea soup. So watch out, Mary. That's not on the menu today.
She's getting so grossed out by the fact that now everyone's talking about vomiting and throwing up. And she's trying to eat her pastrami fucking soup.
While Mary finally gets her food, she is losing her appetite very quickly.
And, Bronwyn was the one who spoke up and said, oh, it wasn't just the crying. The rumor was that you were throwing up, too. I just want to point out that Bronwyn has been involved in recommunicating a lot of the things that the other women have said. And somehow she is flying under the radar and nobody's really clocking it.
I mean, it's working for her. Nobody brought up diarrhea, though. So that's good. I was worried that it was going to escalate to that. That was going to be the next and...
You can't even go in her room.
No, yeah.
We're going to get charged when we check out.
This room is never going to be the same.
Meredith does not even address the part about throwing up. And she just, I screamed at her response. It was the funniest thing that I think the funniest thing I've ever seen on this show.
For the reasoning that Meredith gave.
She looks Brittany dead in the face from across the table and tells her, I was upset about the slut shaming. I was crying because of the slut shaming.
And I cried. I cried a little bit.
Just period at the end of it. No further explanation. Said with a straight face.
I just thought of something because for the preview for the next episode, not next week, but the next episode, it is Meredith freaking out about someone recording them. Do you think Brittany recorded Meredith crying?
Oh my God. I hope so. Or it seemed like she was recording them in the car. That's what I thought that they were saying, but maybe that wasn't it.
Maybe this is Brittany recording Meredith and then showing people, yeah, it sounded like she was crying and throwing up. See for yourself. Maybe?
My jaw's on the ground.
I just was piecing that together in my head.
Okay, let's manifest it, everyone together. I hope that's what happened. She does get very upset about there being like surveillance on her, even though they're literally filming this for television.
Yeah.
All right, but back to the dinner. The slut shaming got brought up again. So now, if you were that upset that you're crying, maybe this isn't like fully resolved. So Angie's asking Meredith, is everything okay? I thought that we wrapped this up last time.
So then this is when Lisa jumps in.
Which doesn't look good after you didn't jump in to defend Bronwyn on the boat.
That's what I'm saying. It's those types of things, because then this is a group setting where Lisa has absolutely nothing to do with this, but then she's defending Meredith or encouraging Meredith to go after Angie is kind of what she's pushing for. So I guess Bronwyn needs to check that and realize that Lisa's not defending Meredith, even though she is speaking on her behalf in some ways, but she's not defending her character the way that Bronwyn wishes that Lisa would defend hers.
That's true. She actually doesn't say anything that would make it as though she thinks Meredith's in the right.
No. She wants Meredith to say what Meredith feels like she needs to say.
Which is not really something that Bronwyn needs encouragement with.
Right.
She's doing pretty well doing that on her own.
Yeah. So I think maybe it is Bronwyn is seeing that stuff happening and then she's getting kind of jealous of
Well, of course, that would be annoying.
A little bit, but that's not actually what's happening though. So I think she needs to Bronwyn needs to check that part of it.
And it wouldn't be a dinner with everyone together if Angie didn't start some shit with someone. And tonight, the barbs are getting thrown at Lisa.
She's reminding Lisa to stay out of it because she's told her that before. She told her that at dinner last night too.
I actually don't know why Lisa felt the need to say anything, because if it was resolved, why are you encouraging it to become more than it was? What else does Meredith have to say?
That she threw up in Angie's suitcase.
Hold on. On the shampoo bottles.
Yeah.
On all the Kerastase.
Sorry.
I'm remembering when they got here and they were chatting, just Lisa and Meredith, about how this trip was going to go, that Meredith was still upset about things with Angie. But then they had the dinner.
I thought
and the shampoo bottles were returned.
Yeah.
And they seemed to work through it. So why are you bringing it up again?
They landed in a pretty good spot at the end of the last episode. So then for Meredith if the problem might be that Meredith is lying, obviously.
The problem might be that Meredith wasn't actually that upset about the slut shaming.
She didn't care about the slut shaming, but that is what she is attributing her crying / alleged vomiting on.
But also, wasn't what she was upset about the last time they got together for dinner, was like last night, was that she had the wrong information about the entire circumstance around the slut shaming, and she learned that Brittany had instigated it. So then why would you think there is any issue with Angie?
That's the weird part. Yeah, well, I think Angie then took that as it's her thing. She's still upset about the argument that we had.
Slut shaming's my thing.
Yeah, that's my thing.
This turns into a big problem between Angie and Lisa, because now Angie is trying to take up for Bronwyn at the table, who wasn't even involved in this whole thing.
Whitney chimes in too.
Of course she did, because that's the only thing Whitney has to contribute to the show, is to yell things across the table to start fights.
She can see that Lisa's getting upset. So if she piles on too, then Lisa's really going to get fired up. And that's exactly what happens.
And she knew that this is something that Lisa does not like to hear, which is that she only cares about herself and she doesn't care about other people and their feelings. So that was something that Whitney said to set her off. And then it gets worse because we revisit the Bronwyn situation on the yacht, and Bronwyn brings up how she felt that Lisa wasn't very supportive of her. So that's just citing an example of you not caring about other people's feelings.
Which this was when I was amazed with Mary Cosby at this point, because I don't know how she's keeping up with this conversation with what's going on, because there's a lot of information that she was not privy to.
And after Bronwyn shared that really deep, dark, upsetting secret with all of us, we just feel closer to Bronwyn than we've ever felt to you, Lisa. And that came from Angie, who we know had to field hours of phone calls with Lisa Barlow over the years.
Here's the thing. I think both of those can be true. I think that Angie could have been stuck on the phone with Lisa for several thousand hours and not learn anything personal about Lisa. She would just ramble on about whatever thoughts are meandering through her mind, whatever Henry has going on at school. It's going to jump from one topic to the next, but you're never going to learn anything about Lisa.
But is that purposeful on Lisa's part, or is Lisa just maybe not that deep of a person? Does she not think about things that deeply? Does she not really have much to say beyond talking about Wendy's and Kerastase and $60,000 rings and Diet Cokes? I feel like that's a lot of it.
I mean, I guess, yeah. I don't know why Angie's so surprised then. It's like, well, if that's the level that you're at where everything is surface level, then yeah, she wouldn't divulge any of her real struggles or her marital issues or anything like that she's actually going through.
I think the really hurtful thing for Lisa in this is that she thought that she had a genuine friendship with Angie for a long time. And now Bronwyn comes into this group and suddenly Angie's reflecting on their entire relationship and has a whole different view of it. And she was really upset. She starts crying.
Not throwing up.
Not throwing up.
Just
yet.
crying.
Not yet. She does leave the table.
She says she's going home.
And not paying the bill.
I guess we'll have to see.
She's sending you all in coach seats on the way home.
17F.
Get ready for it. Mary just wants to know what happened to dessert. She had to wait so long between courses. Now, is the fact that Lisa's gone and she's the one holding the dinner, is that going to just end things? Or are we going to get a sweet treat before we leave?
She released the staff, told everyone to go home, call it a night.
Storming past the VIDA signs.
Surprised she didn't stop and pose.
Yeah.
Just
get some promo pics in there while she's here.
Turn real quick.
Got to get her money out of the rentals. That is this episode of Housewives. Again, every episode's so good. I feel like I would actually go back and rewatch the season, which is something I rarely do with any Housewives franchise.
Once it completes out, I feel like there will be rewatch value in this season to piece everything together and know what's coming next. I feel like there will be kind of like Easter eggs that are sprinkled throughout here that we're not even picking up on what they're putting down yet.
More things evolving. Well, again, we won't be here next week talking about Housewives, but we will be talking about Glitter and Greed, the Lisa Frank story.
So make sure you hit subscribe, and that way you don't miss the episode.
Thanks for listening. See you next time.
The new Boost Mobile network is offering unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month for life.
That sounds like a threat.
Then how do you think we should say it?
Unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month for the rest of your life?
I don't know.
Until your ultimate demise.
What if we just say forever?
Okay.
$25 a month, forever.
Get unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month with Boost Mobile forever.
After 30 gigabytes, customers may experience slower speeds. Customers will pay $25 a month as long as they remain active on the Boost Unlimited plan.
Build the perfect holiday meal with exceptionally flavorful ingredients from Whole Foods Market. Look for sales on luscious bone-in beef rib roast, golden king crab clusters, and organic spiral cut bone-in ham. Complete your spread with fresh seasonal produce, savory sides, and expert crafted desserts from the Whole Foods Market Bakery. If you forget something, relax. Order online at Whole Foods Market on Amazon for pickup and delivery. Terms apply.
What makes a great pair of glasses? At Warby Parker, it's all the invisible extras without the extra cost. Their designer quality frames start at $95, including prescription lenses, plus scratch-resistant, smudge-resistant, and anti-reflective coatings, and UV protection, and free adjustments for life. To find your next pair of glasses, sunglasses, or contact lenses, or to find the Warby Parker store nearest you, head over to warbyparker.com. That's warbyparker.com.